Hello, and welcome to the Introverts Guide to Social Media. Today, we're going to start with part one, which is branding, which I will explain all of the branding things when we get there. A little bit about me. My name is Jara Boles. I'm a fantasy and romance writer here in Kansas City. I grew up here with my husband. He was my debate partner. We have two fearless daughters and some incredibly pampered rescue dogs at home. My background is that I am a lawyer-turned-novelist, a full-time fiction editor, and a sometimes crochet blanket maker. I have six fantasy novels out on Amazon, and my first contemporary romance novel is going to be coming out from Wild Rose Press next year. So, what are we going to talk about? We are going to learn all the things about social media. So if you're an introvert like me, social media is intimidating. It can feel like a chore. I'm going to break it down. We're going to talk about building your author brand, growing your accounts in a meaningful way, developing content routines. And those will all be here on the library's YouTube channel. And then for their conference in November, we're going to meet in person and build content calendars. And we can also get into the more nitty-gritty part of how to use, some of the tools like Hootsuite and Meta Business Suite. If you have questions, we can talk about those in person. So let's dive in. What is an author brand? So your brand is the tone that you use across everywhere that you put words. So it's your newsletter, it's your blog if you have one, it's your acknowledgement section in your book, it's the consistent font, colors, formats that you use everywhere. It's basically, if you take it down to the smallest part of it, it's the emotions that you want to evoke from your audience, from your readers. And at the end of the day, your brand is how your readers, how your audience sees you. So as an introvert, I think it's important to kind of center our brand and our why. So social media can feel like a chore, right? You'll hear authors complain all the time that we have to wear so many different hats. And I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that we are marketing professionals when we really just want to be cozy little writers, right? So you've got to stop and think about it from a different paradigm, right? So if you let your enthusiasm for your books, for your hobbies, for the books that you read, and shine that light in your social media posting, if you're sharing your own personal enthusiasm, if you are uplifting other authors, if you are sharing parts of your daily life that just bring you joy, your readers are going to see that. And so the key for introverts is an authentic and sustainable brand strategy. We are not kitschy marketing folks. We are authors who are authentically sharing parts of our lives and our interests with our reading community. So one of the things we're going to do today is I'm going to share the author brand checklist. So part one of that checklist is 4 steps. First, you're going to need your website, your email, your author name is a brand stamp, which just is a fancy way of making your sort of autograph image, which you can do on Canva. And you can see on this PowerPoint screen, I made a fake one in Canva. It took me 2 minutes for a fictitious author named Margot Frank. And it's just an easy little thing to do that can make your brand look very professional. You can even make an optional logo for your author brand, especially if you write in different genres. You can kind of change the brand to change the tone and match the genre, right? You're going to need an author photo, a bio, and at least 2 active social media platforms. I know that's the part you don't want to hear, but that's what we're here for. You're also going to want 5 to 7 colors that you use for every post, your newsletter, your website design. You can see in the sort of made up author brand that I've made here on the side, it shows, 5 colors that will be Margot Frank's entire color palette for their social media marketing. You're also going to want to pick fonts and styles that are, consistent across everything, even your website. And then the fun part is you're going to go and research stock photos. And you're going to save those to a folder just titled media folder for later. And they all kind of need to match your style. So at the bottom of my fictitious author brand board, you can see this Margot Frank really loves the fall and sunflowers. So she's got a lot of fall colors going on in her color palette. Now I do, because I'm making this presentation from the library, I want to tell you it's very important to use royalty-free stock images. There are sites out there that have only royalty-free stock images like Pixabay, and those are going to be your friend, right? Let's not violate copyright while we're building our author brand. So we've found our stock images and we're saving them to a folder to use later. Part 2 of your author brand checklist is creating a list of your content areas. So what areas of your life do you feel comfortable with sharing with the world publicly? Obviously, your writing and your books are going to be a big part of your content area. And then you're going to start putting together a content calendar with set days that you can reliably share content, like Monday coffee, 2 for Tuesday, work in progress Wednesday, throwback Thursday, and Friday reads. And then last but not least, you're going to want to build a media kit for each book and series that you have. Down below, you can see I've shared my Coffee Monday, my Work in Progress Wednesday, and my Friday Reads images from recently on my own social media. The goal here is to pick areas and things that you are really authentically interested in and then share those. So let's talk about the media kit, because this is more of like a, professional marketing thing that can seem intimidating, but what you're really doing is making a one-stop shop for everything related to your book. You are saving yourselves oodles of time later having to go find the buy links and your blurb and all the different places. It just exists on one file. So it's a document that has quick reference material for your book, and you want a different media kit for each book and each series. It's going to have the blog line, the buy links for all of the different places that people can buy your book. It's going to have your back of the book blurb in one place, a short synopsis, excerpts that you love from your book. If you write genre fiction, it's going to have your tropes. If you write nonfiction, it's going to have your themes. And then I think one of the most important parts is you're going to have your comp titles, right? So you're going to want to have all of the books that if a reader loved them, they're going to love your book too. That needs to be in an easy to find place, like your media kit. So a minor homework assignment is you get to reread your books and highlight your favorite scenes and lines. And if you write genre fiction, moments that highlight your tropes, right? And then you can use a program like Canva later to add your excerpts to those stock images that we saved earlier in our media file. And you're just going to save those because you can reuse them. I'm giving you permission right now to reuse content. And so you'll want 5 to 10 excerpts for each book. And then you just kind of take those quotes and plop them on your pre-selected stock images. And you've already got this nice little cache of book-specific media content to share. Zoe York has a great template available for free on her website, and I've listed that link below, and you can see her template is here on the PowerPoint. Okay, so you've done all of your brand checklist is ready to go. One of the fun things you can do is develop a brand mood board, and this is just a visual inspiration file that you can kind of keep to have all of your colors and images and emotions in one place. And when you're building your mood board, the most important thing to consider is what emotions do you want your readers to feel when they look at your social media feed? And then once you've kind of decided on that, you can search on Canva and other royalty-free stock image websites, even your personal photos, to start pulling pictures to add to a file, add to your mood board, just to make sure at the end of the day they match your writing style and the genre that you write in. So you've made your mood board. Now what? You keep it handy. I like to keep mine printed out on my wall behind where I'm typing. So every time I'm developing a new graphic I can kind of glance up and see, does it match? Am I being consistent and authentic in how I'm engaging with folks online? So your homework assignment is to create your own mood board for your brand. And so I made two quick ones. The one has stock images and the other one has my own personal images. So you can kind of see how I took a stock image mood board and created my own personal mood board. And my favorite part of this is my dog Murphy with his big ears over on the side. So we've made our mood board, and then you got to start thinking about your communication style. And this is really just the tone that you use and the emotions that you share as you're typing content. Are you going to be upbeat and quippy? Are you calm and easygoing? Do you have a PhD in sarcasm? Just keep it consistent and don't deviate. And so on this slide, I've shared three very different authors. We have Terry Wilson on the top line, and three of her most recent posts. You can see she is a Hallmark style, super sweet romance author. The colors that she's chosen are all like bright teal and pretty pink. And she often shares her dogs. And in her photo with her, there is Charm, who I think graces several books that she writes. But it's all very upbeat, very happy. If you look at her feed, you're seeing bright pink cupcakes and macarons and just a very joyful slice of life that matches what you get when you pick up her book. It's all consistent and authentic. The next line is Gail Carriger, who writes very quippy, sarcastic steampunk that are all set sort of in Edwardian era. And so a lot of her feed, you'll see fashion and styles that she might showcase in her novels. A lot of it has her very sassy comments about her cat. And the tone and the style that she's sharing. Like one of hers is a snapshot of a comment where one of her readers wrote, "Lol, I married the man who recommended your books." And Gail responds, "Brilliant. The book recommended the husband." So it's all very sort of in that voice and tone that you can expect from her books. And then last but not least is Bryn Donovan, who writes very spicy romance novels and urban fantasy. And her upcoming one is going to be set in Chicago. So right now her feed is kind of like a little love letter to Chicago to highlight the tone and content that you're going to find in her book. She's sharing comp titles that if a reader loves those books, they're going to love her upcoming book. And then she's sharing content specific to her books. And it's all what you get is what you see is what you get, right? Which is what we want to share as we develop our own brand and style online. So your homework now is to decide what content you're going to share. Your branding kit lists what aspects of your author life you're going to share online. As introverts, we need authentic ways to engage with readers. And so, you know, you could decide if you're a quilter, a baker, a painter, or a gardener. Those are easy to share because they're very visual moments in your life that you can snap a photo of and share online. Like, look how my azaleas are doing. Or here I am at a quilt show, and here's a quilt that I love. Janice Lynn, who's a New York Times bestselling author of sweet romance and medical romance, she's a quilter. And so you can see here on the screen, she's at a quilting show and she's sharing a quilt that she loves for National Quilting Day, right? Very on brand for her. And next to her, you have the iconic Emily Henry, and her feed shares almost nothing that's personal about her life, but she shares her dog a lot. And so here is a image of her in pretty pink showing her dog a Polaroid of herself. So you can kind of give yourself permission to limit what you're sharing online so that you feel safe and comfortable as you move into this social media marketing era of your life. So your homework is to make your list of what you're going to share. And you can even make a list of what you're not going to share as part of that as well. And that, my friends, is the end of the presentation on branding. I've got a slide here that shares my website, my email, and my social media, which you can see all has the same name handle. And I'd love to see you all do that as well. Next time we'll be talking about growing our accounts. So I hope to see you then.